Hello everyone, I welcome you to another video on this channel. Now today we are going to discuss chapter 8 of the Companies Act, which is Declaration and Payment of Dividend. Now in this chapter there are section number 123 onwards till section number 127. So we are going to take up some multiple choice questions to revise all of these sections. So we'll take up 25 multiple choice questions. I hope you're excited. I hope you have revised all of the concepts. I'll put up a link over here in the I button for you to revise this chapter. I have already shot a video on it. So make sure you solve all of these multiple choice questions. Make sure you watch this video till the end, and also like this video, share it with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're new to my channel, I am Yogita Hajani. I am a CA and a CS, and in CS I have multiple All India ranks. Now let's start off with the multiple choice questions. So first MCQ is preference dividend can be. Okay, so the options are fixed, all of these cumulative, non-cumulative. So we know that preference dividend can be cumulative in nature, or it can also be non-cumulative. It can be fixed also, but it cannot be fluctuating. So in a way we can say that all three options are correct. So our answer is going to be B, which is all of the above. Dividend cannot be distributed using government's funds specially provided for dividend distribution, profits of the current financial year, capital profits, profits of the previous financial year. So here we are specifically talking about section number 123. Section 123 talks about the sources of dividend. So if a company has to distribute dividend, where is it going to get the money from? Okay, so in section 123 it is very clearly stated that the money can be taken out from the free reserves. It can be taken out from any funds that the central government has provided. It can take money from the current year profits also. So these are the three sources which are allowed. But capital profit is strictly prohibited. So the company can never use capital profits to distribute dividend. So here our answer is going to be C, because the company cannot use capital profits for dividend distribution. Let's talk about the next question now. Dividend has been defined in which section? Okay, so this is slightly technical. If you do not remember the sections, then you might not be able to answer this question. So here the options are section 2, clause 35, 34, 36 and 37. So the correct answer here is A. Dividend has been defined in section 2, clause 35. Next question. Company can transfer any amount to the reserves of the company from the profits of the company, whether it is true, false, partly true, partly false. Okay, so here we are talking specifically about section 123. Now if a company wants to put some money in the reserves and pay the remaining amount as dividend, can it do so? If the company wants to put no amount in the reserves, can it do so? If the company wants to distribute the entire amount as dividend, can it do so? Well, that is stated in section 123. Section 123 clearly states that it is up to the company. Company will have to decide according to the company's business plans. If the company wants, they can put some amount in the reserves. If the company does not want, then it need not keep the amount in the reserves. It can pay off the entire amount as dividend. So here the company can transfer any amount to the reserves of the company from the profits of the company. The answer is true, which is A. Let's go to the next question, question 5. Dividend cannot be paid. Options are in cash, in kind, in check, through dividend warrant. Okay, so here again we are talking about section 123. What are the modes of distributing the dividend? So see, dividend can be distributed in cash, it can be distributed in check, okay, it can be distributed in electronic mode, it can be paid through bank channels, but it cannot be paid in kind. The company cannot distribute its own products in the form of dividend. Okay, so it can never be paid in kind. So your correct answer here is going to be B. Let's move to the next question. Sixth question. Within dash days of declaration of dividend, it should be transferred to a separate bank account in the scheduled bank. Section 123. So the options are 7 days, 14 days, 5 days and 30 days. Okay. So once the company declares the dividend, within how many days is the company supposed to put that dividend amount in a separate scheduled bank? See, for that, section 123 says that it has to be sent to the separate bank account in 5 days. Okay, so here our answer is going to be C, which is 5 days. Please note, the payment has to be done in 30 days after declaration, but this amount has to be transferred to the separate bank account in the first 5 days after declaration. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 7. Dividend should be paid within dash days from the declaration or by the company. It has to be paid within dash days. We just discussed it. Here we are talking about section number 127. Section 127 very clearly states that the moment the company declares a dividend, whether it is final dividend, interim dividend, the company will have to make the payment anyhow in the first 30 days after declaration. Okay, so here our correct answer is going to be D, which is 30 days. Let's see the next question now. Question 8. Within dash days of opening the unpaid dividend account, the company must publish details of the unpaid dividend on the company's website. Okay. So here we are talking about section number 124. Now section 124, what did it say? It said that in case after the first 30 days, if suppose the company has made the payment to many shareholders, but a lot of that payment has not been claimed by those shareholders, in that case the amount which is unclaimed, that amount should be transferred to a separate account. It is called the unpaid dividend account. Now in section number 124, it is stated that this amount which is unclaimed has to be transferred in the unpaid dividend account in 7 days after those first 30 days. Alright. Also, this section also states that the details of all these unpaid dividends, that means the name of the shareholders, how much amount is due to be paid to those shareholders, all of those details will have to be published on the company's website. For that also the timeline has been given in section number 124. Section 124 says that within 90 days the company will have to ensure that it makes these details available on the company's website. Alright, so here let's see what are our options. The options are 90 days, 45 days, 30 days and 180 days. So here our correct answer is going to be 90 days. Alright, okay, so let's move on to the next question. Question 9. Dividend is payable to dash. Okay, so options are registered shareholder, order of the registered shareholder, banker of the shareholder, D, any of the above. So here the question says, it's about section 123. The question is saying that whether company has to make the payment of dividend to the shareholder, who all can it make the payment to? So it can of course make the payment to the shareholder directly, but it can also transfer the amount to the bank account of the shareholder. Moreover, if suppose the shareholder says that the payment should be made to some other third party, in that case the payment can also be made according to the order or instructions of the shareholder to some third party. All of this is stated in section number 123. So that means our correct options will be A, B and C, all of these. Therefore, our correct answer is going to be D, which is all of the above. Now let's talk about okay, so next MCQ is dash are prohibited from paying any dividend to its members as per section 123. Options are private company, public company, nidhi company, section 8 companies. So if you know section 123, it very clearly prohibits that section 8 companies will never distribute any dividend. Similarly, in section number 8 also, in incorporation chapter, which is chapter 2 of the Companies Act, it is very clearly stated that section 8 companies can never distribute dividend. They will have to put up all of their profits back into business, back into their objectives. Alright, so here our correct answer is going to be D, which is section 8 companies. Next question. Dividends can be paid in the form of dash, section 123. Okay, so it is again asking how can we actually pay the dividend? Can it be paid? The options are in cash, bonus shares, right shares, or all of the above. Now here, if you know section 123 properly, we had discussed that whenever the dividend is being paid, it cannot be paid in the form of capitalization of profits. The company should actually give the dividend in the hands or in the bank account of the shareholder. It can pay in cash, it can pay as check, it can pay as bank channels, but it cannot pay in kind. It also cannot pay as post-paid checks. It also cannot capitalize the profits. The company cannot offer shares in place of those dividends. So here the company cannot offer bonus shares or it cannot offer right shares also. Right. So here our correct answer is going to be A, which is in cash, because the company cannot issue bonus shares, the company cannot issue rights shares also. Next question is question 12. After dash years of creation of unpaid dividend account, unpaid dividend is transferred to the IEPF, section 125. So this is a very simple question. So once the dividend is declared, we know within 30 days it has to be paid to the shareholders. If it remains unpaid, it has to be transferred to an unpaid dividend account in the next 7 days. And then after that, in the next 7 years, if any shareholder comes and they want to claim their money, they can claim it back. If suppose still some amount is remaining, then after 7 years that remaining amount is transferred to the IEPF account. Alright, so that means the company will have to wait for 7 long years before it transfers the amount to the IEPF account, right? So that is exactly what is asked here. So the options are 5, 10, 7, 3. So how many years? The correct answer is 7 years, which is option C. Next question. Interest rate on company on delay to pay the dividend within 30 days of the declaration under section 127 is. So see, in our dividend chapter, we know the timeline is very simple. It says that in the first 30 days after declaration, payment has to be done. Now what happens if the company does not make the payment in the first 30 days? If it does not make the payment, then there is some interest applicable on that amount. Alright, which is not paid to the shareholders. That interest amount is stated in your section number 127. That interest amount is 18% per annum. This 18% per annum amount has to be added along with this dividend amount, and this total amount will have to be paid to the members from the side of the company. So here exactly that is being asked. It says that as per section 127, if the company does not make the payment of the dividend in 30 days of declaration, how much interest is going to be applicable? So here the correct answer is going to be D, which is 18%. Alright. Now the next question. Question 14. Interest rate on the company on delay in depositing the unpaid dividend in the unpaid dividend account within 7 days is as per section 124. Section 124 also has an interest rate applicable on the company. See, we know that once the dividend is declared, in the next 30 days, the company has to make the payment of the dividend to the shareholders. Now, if the company has made that payment, still it may be possible that some amount is remaining unpaid. Okay, that unpaid amount of dividend has to be transferred in the next 7 days in the unpaid dividend account in a separate schedule bank. Alright, now what happens if the company fails to do that? In the next 7 days, if the company fails to put that amount in the separate schedule bank, then there is some interest also applicable which the company will have to make the payment of. It is basically a penal interest that is stated in section 124. Now this interest is actually 12%. If the company does not deposit this unpaid dividend to the unpaid dividend account in the 7 days, then 12% per annum additional amount will have to be paid by the company for the delay period after 7 days. Alright, so here our correct answer is going to be 12%, which is your option A. Let's move to the next question. Question 15. A dash is a payment made by the company to the shareholders, usually as a distribution of profit. So this is very simple. Options are A, bonus, B, dividend, C, rights shares, D, ESOP. Basically, if the company makes a payment to the shareholder which is part of the profit, what is it called? So it is called dividend. That is our chapter's name. Alright, so the answer here is B. So these were some simple MCQs that we did. Now we are going to take up some difficult MCQs. The next 10 MCQs are basically case study based MCQs. So let's jump right on to those questions. So the first question, let's read it. A company wants to pay a dividend of 10% for the year 2018-19. It has earned rupees 900 crore profit for the year 2018-19 and does not want to transfer any amount to the reserves for that year. Can it do so? Okay, so it basically is asking that there is a company, the company has made a profit, it has made a profit of 900 crore rupees and the company wants to make a payment of 10% dividend. The company basically does not want to put in any money in the reserves, it basically wants to put in the entire profit, it wants to distribute it as dividend. Can it do so? See, for that we have to see what section 123 says. Section 123 clearly says that it is up to the board of directors. They can decide how much amount they want to put in the reserves. If they want to put some amount, they can put. If they want to put the entire amount in reserves and pay no dividend, that's also possible. If they want to pay entire amount as dividend and they don't want to put anything in reserves, again that is possible too. So here, can it do so? Yes, definitely they can do so. So we'll just read the options. The first is yes, then B is no, C is if the court permission is taken, then the company can do so, and D is if the central government permission is taken, then the company can do so. So here our correct answer is going to be A. Let's see the next question now. Question 2. Declaration of interim dividend was done by the company on the 1st of March of 2019. The company shall pay such dividend to the shareholder till what date? Okay. So you are basically saying that the dividend is declared on 1st March till when the company should make the payment of the dividend. So we know with respect to payment of the dividend, we have section 127. Section 127 says that the moment the company declares a dividend, whether it is interim or final, the company will have to make the payment in the first 30 days after declaration. So that means if we will have to count from 1st March 2019, 30 days. In that time the company will have to make the payment. So our answer should come to 31st March of 2019. So that is option number C. Okay, 31st March 2019 is the correct answer, which is option C. Let's read the next question. Question 3. PQR Limited incurred losses in the current financial year. It paid dividend in the preceding financial year for 12%, 15%, 18%. In the current year, they want to pay the dividend to the shareholders. They can pay up to -% dividend. Okay, so here what are we saying? Here we are saying that there is a company. The company has basically made some losses in the current financial year. Okay, and it still wants to make the payment of dividend. Can it do so? Moreover, there are additional details. Past 3 years percentage of dividend is also stated here. So see here, basically the question revolves around the fact that the company wants to use its past year reserves and past year profits to pay the dividend, because current year already the company does not have any profits, it has losses. So we have rule 3 of companies declaration and payment of dividend rules 2014. Now these rules basically say that whenever the company has losses or where the company has insufficient profits, then if the company uses the past year reserves to pay the dividend, then there are 4 conditions that have to be satisfied. One of those conditions says that the company cannot pay dividend more than the average rate paid in the last 3 financial years. So in the current year, if the company wants to pay the dividend using reserves, it cannot pay more than the average of past 3 years average dividend, which is 12%, 15%, 18%. So we will have to calculate the average of these 3 figures. So the average is going to come as 15 as the answer. Okay, so 15% is the maximum dividend that in the current year the company can pay. Okay, so your answer, the options are A 15, B 12, C 18, and D no dividend can be paid as the company has incurred losses. So your correct answer is going to be A, which is 15%. Next question, question 4. A company wants to use revaluation reserve, capital reserves, general reserve for the payment of dividend. Can it do so? So again here we are talking about section number 123. Section 123 talks about the sources of the dividend. If the company wants to make the payment of dividend, the company can use general reserve, the company can use current year profits, the company can use central government given funds. The company cannot use any capital profits, it cannot use any revaluation reserves or any notional reserves. Alright, so accordingly we know that revaluation reserve cannot be used, capital reserve cannot be used, but general reserve can be used. So accordingly we will have to select the answer. Let's read the options. So the first option is only revaluation reserve and general reserve can be used. Wrong. Second is only capital reserve can be used. Again wrong. C, all the reserves can be used. Again wrong. D, revaluation reserve and capital reserves cannot be used. So this seems like the right answer. Our correct answer is D. Question 5. Board of Directors of the company declared a dividend of 15% for the shareholders. In the annual general meeting, resolution is not passed and the shareholders suggest the higher dividend of 17%. What rate of dividend will apply? Okay, so the question says that the board of directors have declared 15% dividend. Whenever we are talking about the final dividend, First, the board of directors, they propose it, then it has to be put in the annual general meeting, an ordinary resolution has to be passed. Only after that this dividend is finalized. So here in the annual general meeting, the ordinary resolution was not passed, it failed, and these shareholders are asking for higher rate of dividend. They are asking for 17%. Can that happen? Can that happen? We have regulation 80 of table F of schedule 1 of the Companies Act. This regulation allows that if the shareholders are not satisfied with the dividend that has been declared, then they can reduce the dividend, but they don't have the right to increase the dividend. This 15% dividend, if it is not passed, then 17% cannot be agreed upon by the shareholders. They do not have the power. This dividend has to come from the board of directors only. Alright. So accordingly, our answer is going to be none of these, which is C. Okay, let's read the next question now. Question 6th. Mr. Ramalakshmi, a member of Kripa Limited, had given directions to Kripa Limited to pay dividend in a certain manner. The company fails to follow the member's direction. Accordingly, the dividend could not be paid to Mr. Ramalakshmi. Which of the following statement is true? A. Kripa Limited has contravened section 127 and therefore liable for penalty under section 127. Second, in case of contravention of section 127, companies shall have to pay interest at the rate of 12% per annum during the period for which the default continues. Okay, so here the question basically says that there is some shareholder called Mr. Ramalakshmi. Okay, and there is this one company called Kripa Limited. Now, Kripa Limited had to pay dividend to all of its shareholders, including Mr. Ramalakshmi. Now, Mr. Ramalakshmi specifically told this company Kripa Limited to pay the dividend to Mr. Ramalakshmi in a certain different manner. So, he had given basically some instructions to follow when the company was paying the dividend to Mr. Ramalakshmi. The company had agreed also. Okay, it could be anything. It could be maybe sending the dividend to a certain different location or to a certain different person or through a certain different mode. Could be anything. Now here, Kripa Limited did not follow that instruction. Accordingly, the dividend was not paid to Mr. Ramalakshmi. So what are going to be the consequences of this on the company Kripa Limited? Okay, now here we have to see section 127 to understand the repercussions. Section 127 says that the dividend has to be paid in the first 30 days. Otherwise, there is going to be a penal interest of 18% per annum applicable on such a company. Alright. Now, there are some exceptions also given in section 127. One of those exceptions is that if the company has received some directions or instructions from the shareholder to pay the dividend in a certain different manner, then the company can also do that. Accordingly, this section 127 will not be contravened. However, if the company fails to even follow those instructions of the shareholder, then the company will have to at least inform the shareholder. See, Mr. Ramalakshmi gave those instructions, the company did not follow those instructions, so the company should inform Mr. Ramalakshmi. Here, because the company has not informed Mr. Ramalakshmi, therefore we can say the section 127 has been contravened by this company. So here the first option is definitely correct. Mr. Kripa Limited has contravened section 127 and therefore they are liable to penalty. Okay. Now the second point, it says that in case of contravention of section 127, company is liable to pay interest at 12% per annum. See, the company is liable to pay interest, but the company does not have to pay 12% per annum, because in section 127, 18% per annum interest is given. So the second option is incorrect. So our correct answer is only one. Only one statement is correct. So the options are only statement 1, only statement 2, both statements, none of the statements. So the correct answer here is A. Only statement 1. A Limited wants to pay dividend out of its reserve in the current year. As per the last audited balance sheet of the company, the paid up share capital and reserves of the company are 10 crore and 5 crores respectively. What is the maximum amount that the company can withdraw from the reserves? So here, the company wants to pay the dividend, and the company wants to pay the dividend from the reserves. The moment the company says that the company wants to pay dividend from the reserves, it is Rule 3 of the company's Declaration and Payment of Dividend Rules 2014. So now this rule 3 basically lays down 4 conditions which have to be followed by any company which wants to make the payment of the dividend from the reserves. So here one of the conditions talks about the maximum amount that can be withdrawn from the reserves for the payment of dividend. Now there the condition is that the maximum amount should be up to 1/10 of the paid up share capital plus the free reserves. Accordingly, we will have to calculate what is the maximum amount that the company can withdraw as per this section, this question 8. So here we have 10 crore paid up share capital and 5 crore is the reserves. So 1/10 is going to come as 1.5 crore. So at the most the company can withdraw 1.5 crore rupees from the reserves according to rule number 3. So let's see the options. Options are 1.5 crores, 2 crores, 50 lakh, 1 crore. So the answer is going to be A here, which is 1.5 crores. Question 9. Which of the statement is false? We have to see which statement is wrong here. First statement is the board may declare the interim dividend for the financial year even after the end of the financial year. Okay, so the first statement basically says that if the board wants to declare interim dividend, it can declare it during the financial year, and even after the financial year is completed, then also the interim dividend of that financial year can be paid. Is it true or is it not? We will discuss it. Let's read the second point also here. Second statement is the amount of interim dividend is to be compulsorily deposited in the scheduled bank in a separate bank account within 7 days of passing the board resolution declaring the interim dividend. It says that once the dividend is declared, within the next 7 days, the amount has to be transferred to a separate bank account. Now this second statement is basically talking about section 123. Section 123 said that whenever the dividend is declared, in the next 5 days, the company must transfer that dividend amount to a separate scheduled bank. It did not say 7 days. So definitely the second statement is not right. It is wrong, because here it should be 5 days, not 7 days. So definitely second statement is false. Let's discuss the first statement now. First statement saying that the interim dividend for the financial year can also be paid in the next financial year. See, for that we will have to understand what this interim dividend means. So this is also clearly specified in section 123. Section 123 says that interim dividend basically means the dividend for the financial year which is paid between 2 AGMs. So that means for this one financial year, let's say it is 2019-20, for this financial year, if the AGM, next AGM is held on say 3rd August of 2020, then till this 3rd August, whatever dividend is declared by the company for this financial year as interim dividend, it will be considered as interim dividend for the financial year 2019-20. So that means for the financial year 2019-20, of course interim dividend can be declared in between that financial year, but also after that till the next AGM. During this time also the interim dividend can be declared for the financial year 2019-20, because basically interim dividend is the dividend which is declared between 2 AGMs. Okay, so that means our first statement is correct, but the second statement is incorrect. So accordingly we'll have to select the answer. Options are only statement 1, only statement 2, both statements, none of the statements. So we know the correct answer is B, which is only second statement is false. A and B are joint holders of the shares in the company. The company declared dividend and wants to know how to distribute the dividend to A and B. Dividend should be paid dash. There are 2 shareholders, both of them are basically joint shareholders. So in the company's registers of members, both of their names is written together as the shareholder, they're joint holders basically. So if the company is declaring dividend, how should it pay it to these 2 people? Options are to the joint holders who is authorized by all the joint holders in this regard. So the company should make the payment to that one joint holder who has been given the authority by all the other joint holders. That's option A. Second option is all the joint holders equally. Second option says that to A and B equal dividend has to be given. So the dividend has to be divided in these 2 people. Third option is the joint holders who's first named in the register of members. Third option says that in the register of members, if it is written A and B, then the dividend has to be paid to A because A's name is written first. If in the register of members it is written B and A, then the dividend should be paid to B. And the fourth option is all the joint holders in proportion of the money which is invested by them. Okay, so that means the company should pay the dividend in the proportion of the amount invested by individual joint holders. So here if you see, always whenever there is a dispute as to who should get the dividend, always the first named person in the register of members, that person gets all the rights, he gets the benefit here. So therefore our correct answer is going to be C, which is the first named person in the register of members. So that's it in this video. We have discussed all these MCQs. We have quickly revised this entire chapter 8 of the Companies Act, which is declaration and payment of dividend. So how did you find these questions? Were you able to solve these MCQs or not? Were they hard? Were they easy? How was your revision? Let me know in the comment section below. If you have any more requests, let me know again in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, like this video and share it with your friends, and I'll see you again in the next video. So bye bye, all the very best.